With only a few days left until the election, political tensions are at an all-time high. As we all hold our breath to see who takes the White House, both the left and the right are hard at work trying to secure as many last-minute votes as possible. While the Republican ticket seems to be finishing strong with somewhat charming publicity stunts and podcast appearances, the Democrats seem to be taking a much more intense approach. They're not pulling any punches this late in the game between the Nazi comparisons and accusations of racism and sexism. As much as I personally dislike these tactics, the right has done plenty of fear-mongering about Marxism and the end of America as we know it, so to a certain extent this kind of divisive rhetoric has become the norm. That being said, there's a distinct line between uncharitable spin on a story and blatantly lying to the public. One of the reasons Trump supporters are so motivated to support him is because of how he's treated in the media. He doesn't calculate or consider his words carefully when he speaks, so there's plenty of opportunities for the media to draw unflattering conclusions. Trump often calls out the fake news media for giving him such unfair treatment, and I hate to admit it, but in a lot of instances, he's kind of got a point. That brings us to the most recent example. On Halloween evening at a fundraiser in Arizona, Trump sat down for an hour and a half with Tucker Carlson for a televised interview. They touched on a variety of topics you would expect in that kind of conversation, and the next day, this was the clip that went viral among the left-wing media sphere.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Liz Cheney posted this statement about the clip. "This is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death. We cannot entrust our country and our freedom to a petty, vindictive, cruel, unstable man who wants to be a tyrant." The clip was also shared by prominent Democrats, including Hillary Clinton, and the headlines pretty much ran with it from there. Now, for me, as soon as I saw this clip, there were some immediate red flags. Mainly the fact that this clip doesn't give any context as to what he's talking about, or what question Tucker could have asked that would lead him to make this weird statement. Keep in mind, at this point, the implication is that Trump is calling for Liz Cheney to face a firing squad, presumably for opposing him or endorsing Kamala. That's clearly the message they're putting out there for people to take in. So wait, if that's the case, why would Trump say to give her a rifle? Let's take a look at the full context of the conversation to see if that can clear up any confusion.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person. And I used to I'd have meetings with a lot of people, and she always wanted to go to war with people.
Okay, so still not the nicest or most responsible thing to say, but clearly he's not calling for her execution either. It's pretty clear that he's criticizing her aggressive foreign policy preferences, calling her a war hawk. He's saying let's give her a rifle and send her out onto the front lines where enemy combatants will have their guns aimed at her. Maybe then she wouldn't be so in favor of war. I don't know how anyone could really interpret any other message from that context. He calls her a warhawk, makes the comment about the barrels shooting at her, then says warhawks are willing to send 10,000 troops into the mouth of the enemy while the warhawks are sitting safely in Washington, D.C. It really can't be any clearer. We've kind of grown to expect this kind of thing from the media, but the face of the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris, wouldn't repeat this dishonest talking point, right? Well, instead of bucking against the trend of spreading fake news, Kamala signed off on the messaging, calling Trump's content violent rhetoric against political opponents.
He has increased his violent rhetoric, Donald Trump has, about political opponents, and in great detail, suggested rifles should be trained on former Representative Liz Cheney. This must be disqualifying. Anyone who wants to be president of the United States who uses that kind of violent rhetoric is clearly disqualified and unqualified to be president. Representative Cheney is a true patriot who has shown extraordinary courage in putting country above party. Trump is increasingly, however, someone who considers his political opponents the enemy, is permanently out for revenge, and is increasingly unstable and unhinged.
Make no mistake, this was part of a prepared statement she gave on the tarmac. She's reading directly from her notes. It's honestly really disappointing to see this continue to happen, and it really does no favors to the Democrats either. People don't like to be lied to. Every time one of these false narratives is pushed, more people lose faith in the establishment and in the media. People see this and think, if they're lying to me about this, what else is a lie? And that's just how you totally destroy your credibility with the average person. This kind of thing leads to more people believing in conspiracy theories. It's what makes people second guess official narratives about major events like 9/11. It's why people don't trust the science. This is why the fake news accusation carries so much weight. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe for more. Till next time, guys, stay mid.